Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another explosive episode of Releasing the Realness. You guys know the drill by now. No fussing, no faffing, and definitely no fronting. Today, I'm joined by none other than UK rapper Icie, and we're going to be talking about a topic that I take a deep and personal interest in, and have many unanswered questions on. So, without further ado, come along for the ride as we release the realness on the mystery that is manhood. I promise you, I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that if I was to be given £1 for every single time I hear this particular statement, I'd be a millionaire. Like, I'd be chilling in Mauritius right now, feet up. I wouldn't probably be talking to you because I'd just be minted, would have retired 5 years ago. Can you guess what this phrase is? To give you a clue, it's made up of 3 words.
What is that? 3 words?
Yeah.
I love you?
No, sadly. Good try. The statement I'm talking about is women are complicated. Yeah, and I hear that a lot. I hear it mostly from men, and to an extent that's true. You know, I think there's some truth to it. Women are complicated. You know, we're not black and white. We're several different shades of grey. It's how God has made us. But I'm really tempted to spin that notion on its head and say that men are complicated too.
Yeah.
They're equally as complicated, maybe even in some circumstances, more complicated than women. Would you disagree or agree with that?
Touching some toes there. More complicated.
Just agree or disagree, yeah?
I agree.
Okay, you agree.
agree.
Nice,
Yeah.
cool, good, interesting. When I'm doing these interviews, I try to do my due diligence when it comes to spying on my guests, or should I say researching, because spying might make me sound a bit weird.
Yeah.
When it comes to researching my guests, so I'll just confess right now, I've been all over your Twitter, I've been all over your Instagram feed, all up in your YouTube videos, and I found something. I found something which I'm going to talk about now, so don't worry, just be calm.
I feel like someone like storms it or something like.
No, it's not dirt, it's a good thing. So on the 13th of November at 11:26 p.m. this year, you tweeted something, and your tweet basically went like this: wow, being a man, it takes it out of you. Am I right? Am I wrong?
It's weird when you read,
Yeah, screenshot gang, I've got the proof. Yeah, cool, nice. So I've got 2 questions from that tweet.
Yeah.
The first question is, define it. Because you said, being a man, wow, it takes it out of you. What's it? And my second question to you is, in your own words and from your own personal experience, what's so hard about being a man?
It takes it, and I think it's just the energy to keep going, even though like there's craziness happening all around you. It is actually the energy it takes to be strong and to act as if you're strong, even when you're not. That I think when I wrote that tweet, that's what it was. It takes so much energy to act like everything is okay and you're so strong for your wife, for your family, when really behind the screen you are behind the screen.
You're crumbling,
yeah, you're actually crumbling. And I think that's what I remember, specifically that's what I was feeling.
So you do remember tweeting that tweet in that moment? Good. I'm glad we were able to trace that back.
And then what's the second thing you were saying?
The second thing was from your own words, or in your own words, and from your own personal experience, just to explain to me, like I said, I want to understand this, and for ladies watching, and even for other men, what do you think is so hard about being a man? What it might not be one thing, it might be, a combination of things, but what is it that's so hard about being a man?
I think fighting, and it might be the same for both genders, but just fighting perception of what it is to be your gender. So that strength aspect and always knowing the right answer to everything, being a leader, it's like all these things have, all these things have to be rolled into one person, and you've got to be that person for everyone. And I think during that, like, I think it was a few weeks ago, yeah, when I wrote that tweet, that's when I kind of came to the actual realization that actually, no, I actually cannot be all these things to
all these people.
Yeah, and it was for me, it was a shock. I'm 35 years old, but it was a shock to me at 35. I was like, oh wow, no, I can't. I'm not Superman. I'm actually just a man. And as much as I try to be a great son or a great husband or a great brother, there'll be lapses in one of those kind of roles. And it just shocked me how, okay, that's one of the hard things, is trying to be every single one of these things. And if you don't, you feel like a failure.
Wow.
You know, like
so trying to spin all of those plates and juggle all of those balls.
Yeah.
And that leads me nicely onto my next question, because I'm just thinking about expectations. I'm thinking about pressure.
Yeah.
And I just want to split that up. Expectations. What expectations does society put on men? This is a generic question now. So I'm talking about the church. I'm talking about community. I'm talking about, education. I'm talking about the world, the media, sports, whatever it may be. What pressures and expectations do you think that society has put on men to make them feel the way that you've just described?
They just have to have it all together, man. They just have to have it all together. I saw, I don't watch it that often, but I was watching I'm a Celebrity, like the one at the moment, and I'm behind, so me and my wife were watching it yesterday on episode 2, and Amir Khan had to go through where all the bugs were, and his fear is spiders and snakes, and he put his hand in one of them, he got scared, he didn't realise, but he pulled out the snake, and then he ran. It messed up everything. They couldn't get their meals and everything. He went back to camp, and they were like, "Oh guys, sorry, we didn't get it," and they were like, "Nah, you're joking. Nah, sorry, we didn't get it." And one of the guys was so shocked that Amir Khan didn't get it, because he said,
"You're Amir Khan, yeah.
Amir Khan, he's the greatest boxer, he's a boxer."
Yeah.
And it's this expectation that you just have to have it all together and set, whether it's, know where you're going in life, your destination. Church is a big thing about that. You're a guy, you've got to lead a family, you've got to know where you go. What if I don't know where I'm going? What if I don't know what I'm doing?
That's very real, isn't
Do you
it?
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's every hurdle of not meeting that level, there's an opportunity to feel like a failure. Oh, what am I doing with my life? When it comes to finance, before I wasn't even going to get married until I had a car, had a good paying job, and had a flat, or had my own. Those were like the parameters that I thought I had to be expected to have to even think of proposing to anyone. And it didn't even.
Did you put those parameters on yourself, or were they from outside, external sort of sources?
I thought they were from outside.
So you, within yourself, you weren't saying, "Oh, Icie, you need to make sure you've got A, B, and C before you even, consider making a woman your wife." It wasn't from within.
Half and half.
Half and half. Okay.
So I wanted to obviously be able to provide and be in a position where I was secure. But then when I go to church, also I'm supposed to be this leader of the home, and
that's the message that you're hearing.
So when you combine those two, you're met with, this is what I have to be. But if you're not that, then where are you supposed to fit?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's what is that's the tripwire that people go through in life when they realise all the things are mounted on top of them, and they break. They touch that tripwire because they realise, oh my gosh, I actually can't handle all these things.
Yeah.
I'm not great at balancing 10 things, even though I'm supposed to be. Even in, going back to the church setting, a lot of times it's pretty tricky. This is the expectation of a man in his home. You've got to be the pastor of your home. You can lead the children, lead the family in praise and worship and Bible. But what if you're not? What if it's your wife that's actually the strength in that, and she's the one encouraging you? Do you feel less of a man?
As a man because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's being able to, I think, like you said, internally come up with your definition of a man. Internally come up with your the conditions that you personally have to meet. I remember in our first year of our marriage, I wasn't working, but my wife was. And so when she had to come home, in my mind I said, there's no way my wife can come home and the food is not cooked. But I had to battle within that. Okay, does this
make me a house husband because I'm
cooking?
cooking?
Do you know what I'm saying? But I had to create my own definition. But no, it means you love her and you're trying your best to do what you
You're filling the gap. Yeah.
Exactly. And when even just you saying that, filling the gap, that's what I feel a man is. That a man is just someone who fills the gap of what is needed at the time. That's whatever's needed at the time. He does his best to fill that gap. You make a child, you've got a child on the way. Whatever gap is needed, you fill that gap.
To the best of your ability.
To the best of your ability. And that is going to be different. It's going to differ on so many levels.
Absolutely.
But just knowing, okay, I'm going to try and feel a need that is arisen in some other way. I'm going to try and feel that. And I feel that is what a man is, because all the different titles, all the expectations can change, but that principle will continue to just guide you in your manhood, in your masculinity. So,
no, that was a powerful answer. No, powerful answer. I wanted to talk to you also about the expectations, and I'm not going to use the word pressure here because I don't believe that God puts pressure on us. I believe He expects things of us, and which He has laid out in His Word, and which is why I wanted to find out, what do you think that God expects of men? And I'm not asking you to sort of, go into sort of like automatic pilot mode from what you may have heard in the church, not to discredit or discount that, but from you're a Christian, you've got a relationship with God. What does God even expect of you, Icie? As a human, as a man?
I think that same thing, with His strength to meet whatever need arises, whatever situation arises. Last 2 weeks have been mad, like crazy in terms of me personally as a man, all the things I've had to handle. Our car, this car, my wife uses it a lot to work. We bought it years ago and had it on finance, so we pay every month and everything, but it's starting to have problems. It's starting to have some serious problems due to my neglect. So again, there's an expectation that I'm supposed to be this great mechanic that knows how to
just
deal with
flick
cars.
a switch.
Yeah, go and see it.
That's the problem.
Exactly. I don't know.
No, we do.
I have not got a clue. And so this week, last 2 weeks, there have been so many issues with the car, and I had to try and figure out in my mind, all right, so how do we pay for this? How is it that I'm going to enable my wife to still get to work, but we've got to get this fixed because she comes home in the evening. These places, I'm in Stevens, these places close quite quick. So it was difficult because I was thinking of, what am I doing? I can't even talk. But I had to think of all these different scenarios and plans in my mind to try and meet this need and make this need, fit the need of what was needed at the time. And my mind was going crazy. Should I do this? Should I bring the car here? Should I tell work maybe I should come an hour earlier? No, I can't come at this time. Can I come an hour later?
So that brain just frazzled
My
completely.
brain was frazzled. Then I had to go and meet the guys. The guys made a mistake on the car. That got me angry because now I'm in an area where you put my wife in danger. You need to give me. So it was all these different things that I was just like, wow, this thing is quite difficult to actually manage and handle. But I knew all along that God has given me this person, my wife, and His expectation is that, as much as you can, whatever need arises, just try and meet it with my strength.
And He'll come in where you fall short, yeah.
Exactly, and I think that's what's helped. That's the only thing that helped me through the weeks was His strength. Me going to Him, when they told me the bill and under my breath, I'm just like, God, this is a madness. I'm going to have to take the money from here. I'm going to have to do this here. And this is all legal. I'm doing this all legal.
The right way.
Yo.
Yeah, because you want to honor God and you don't want to take shortcuts.
I'm doing this legal. I don't know anybody that does drugs. I don't. But if I was pushed against the wall and in a position that I did, I know I could have leaned that way. But I'm going to God. I'm like, all right, well, let's do this, let's move this, but give me strength because this is a lot to manage. So I think that's His expectation. I feel that's His expectation. Like whatever the situation arises, try and meet it, but just meet it with my strength. Unless, I won't lie, it's not always easy.
Yeah.
It's really not always easy.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's an amazing example. And it's very everyday as well. So yeah, thank you for letting us in. And I was going to touch on a few aspects with regards to marriage anyway. And you've been married for 5 years, right? 5 glorious years.
Only
well done.
Jeez.
No, honestly, marriage is not a joke. It is not a joke. So yeah, congratulations to you and to your beautiful wife.
Wonderful, man.
Congratulations. Well done, guys. This is a personal question, so you know it's up to you how you want to answer it. But I wanted to know, honestly, in those 5 years, what would you say is the biggest mistake you've made as a husband?
Wow. Yeah, yo.
And I told you.
That's good. I like it. But yeah.
And what have you learnt from that? And deliberately, I want to ask about that because a lot of young people are getting married at the moment. I know you've only been married for 5 years, but there's still a lot of wisdom that you've got to share. And people, you know, may have different perceptions of it, especially young Christians as well. I want to use this as an opportunity for them to sort of see, like, you know, what it's like on the inside. From the other side, it may look glossy and shiny and fun. And yes, it can be that. But it's not that in isolation, it's not that by itself. So that's where that question sort of comes from.
The biggest mistake I think I made was thinking I'm always right. From my perspective, I'm always right.
Mm-hmm.
So going into situations and just being like, okay, but why didn't you do it like this? But how come you didn't do that? But it makes sense to, and so I'd say in the first 2 years, that was my constant thing of, why is she not doing it? This is logic, this makes sense. Why is she not doing it this way? And over time, you just kind of think, what are you doing? Like, how come, okay, you're dating, it was working, why is this not working? Until I understood the power of understanding. My days, the power of understanding.
You know, you're getting
brings clarity. Because I began to, I had to ask myself the question, but why do you think like that? Why do you want her to do it like that? Well, because that's how my mum does it. That's how my dad does it. Yeah, but why do you want her to do that? Don't you know that she has come from a whole different background? Don't you know that she came from a whole different setup of our household? Go and put yourself in her shoes. And marriage has taught me, you know, learning that lesson was that marriage is not about, I don't think marriage is about the two people. It's about you. It will expose the realest. Your
weaknesses, your flaws,
you. Like, who are you? Why do you do it? For example, my thing was always like, oh, the house has to be tidy. Man's got to be tidy. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I had to ask myself, well, where does that come from? It comes from my dad. My dad is he's very like meticulous. You can come and clean a whole room.
He will see something out of place.
Like, okay, you guys, you didn't do this thing properly. So I would come home and I'd be like, okay, but the dishes are there still, like da da da. And then one day she said, do you know what? On my days, like, I just want the liberty and the freedom to be able to come to my own house, eat, leave my plate in the dish, and wash it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, but why? Because my mum was always like, you know, chores and cleaning, and, you know, she just wanted that freedom. And when she said that, I was like, yeah, but that was you as well. Like, that was me as well. I always thought, like, yeah, maybe I don't want to take the plate now, I want to take it later on. And I understood, it made me understand that, you know what, like, chill, relax. Stop trying to force how you think on her, and understand how she thinks and why she thinks. Why does she do that? Why does she do that? And it's not always a bad thing. It's not even, why do you do that in a bad way? Sometimes it's good things. And I'll be like, how come you do that? She'll do a kind thing to someone. And I'll be like, okay, why? And she just, because, well, we're good, we're comfortable. Other people need this, or other people need that. It gives you deeper insight to who that person is, why they are, and how they make their choices. So later down the line, it makes everything easier. We were friends for a year before. No, we were friends for a year, dated for a year, and got proposed and everything, got married. But those years of friendship, oh my days! Where's the camera? This one. Those friendship will lay the foundation for us. Friendship laid the foundation, because in that whole year, we were not friends with benefits. We were not friends with, oh, come sleep at my house. We weren't friends.
It was strictly platonic.
It was like, even to the point where people were like, what's happening? How come you two? And I was adamant. We are friends. I don't want nothing more. I don't want nothing less. What we've got is great. because in that year we were able to really, really like genuinely explore each other. Like, wow, okay, what do you like? What are you into? What's your childhood like? That foundation there is what we took into marriage. And so when the wedding day is gone, when the wedding dress is in the loft,
when real life starts,
100%,
yeah,
we can still sit down and chat. Like the other day we came home and we didn't turn on the TV, we were just chatting, just talking,
nice.
talking. But that was only because of that foundation. And again, it's that power of understanding who that person is, man. I think that's, for me, I made the mistake, but that was the greatest lesson.
Yeah, that's really introspective, and it shows you've got great self-awareness to be able to sort of pinpoint what it was. Yeah, again, thank you for that. Awesome. What's the strongest thing a man can do?
Keep going.
Love it.
100%.
Love it.
100%. Keep going. Man, I'm telling you, man, keep going. That's the strongest thing that a man can raise up his head again and keep going. And life can be difficult for both genders, 100%. And for both genders, I would definitely say that is the biggest, strongest thing you could ever do, because the things that people carry, you will see their face or you will see their Instagram, you will see their Twitter, and they look great, life is amazing for them. But the things people are carrying in behind the scenes, in their heart, in their mind, the turmoil.
This is it.
Oh my, like, it's crazy. So for people to still be carrying that stuff and say, I'm gonna go again, let's go for tomorrow, I take my hats off to them. I take my hats off to myself. You know,
Do it.
God's grace.
Do it. Pat your own back.
So,
yeah, awesome. Absolutely awesome. I want to talk about man caves. I've been exploring this term. Yeah, because at first I was just like, oh, it's just a fad, it's just a phase. But man caves are a real thing, right? Yeah, they're a real thing. And I sort of looked at different definitions of what a man cave is or what constitutes a man cave, and most of them said the same sort of thing, like, you know, where a man goes to sort of shut off, shut down. It's just him and his thoughts, where he wants to just sort of like, you know, there's no rules, there's no, you know, limitations. If ever you're playing video games or you're watching football, making music, whatever it is, it's just you in your own space, doing your own thing. And it's great that, you know, that men are able to, well, I would hope that most men are able to sort of retreat to that place and just, you know, be their complete selves. I want to ask you, what triggers the moments where you believe that, or you feel like you need to retreat? What sort of triggers those shutdown moments where you're like, I'm gone?
I had it yesterday.
Tell us about it. Tell us more.
So that's what I take, like, before we started recording. So my work, I work with young people, and I teach finance to young people who are going to have their own flats.
That's amazing.
And this group that came a few days ago was just a very difficult and draining group in terms of, again, in my mind as a man, having to take disrespect and let it slide, having people confront you.
Can I quickly just ask you, the disrespect from young men or young women?
Men.
So is that worse than being disrespected by a woman? The knock that it gives you, the way that it attacks your ego, is it worse?
Some people would say so, but for me personally, and my value of respect, either one would knock me.
Okay.
Would knock me. And so there was so much that was happening, coupled with the last 2-3 weeks of trying to just be, got this. The car messed up 3 times, like within back-to-back weekends. We've got this. That money had to go out from there. That money. Don't worry, let's go another day. And I think what happened was, like on Wednesdays, we said with my wife, okay, that's our day. Mm-hmm. We used to do it back when we was when we were dating. Like Wednesdays, you can do what you're doing, but Wednesdays. But in marriage, we kind of let it slip. So we said, okay, no, we need to trigger that. We need to get that back in. So recently, we said Wednesdays, and it was a Wednesday. So I was like, the weight of all that had happened was coming. I could see the wave was coming as I was leaving work. I could see the wave was coming over my mind. But then I have to be strong to fight it because it's Wednesday and it's supposed to be our time. So I can't bring that there. Garbage even, or baggage. Exactly. Yeah. But I had to fight it. But I was losing that battle. So by the time I got home, I don't know why, but I was just angry. I was just frustrated, angry. I was just...
With yourself?
Life,
yeah.
Life. I was just my mind was turning. It was just turning off all the things that had happened. Why had they happened? So I'm trying to, as much as possible, try and just chase those away before she gets home. But when she got home, I just felt the same. I thought, okay, she walking through the door would be like,
ta-da!
Yeah, it would, it would just lift, and I tried it for her, but just didn't lift, and so I knew at that point you need to go into the man cave, But it's Wednesday, so
what you do.
So I thought I had to.
You wanted to honour the commitment that you've made.
Yeah. Because I thought it's not your fault. All this is going through my head, and so I thought try and honour it. So watching I'm a Celebrity, but I wasn't there. I really wasn't there. We was watching some programs. I really wasn't there. She was talking to me, and I'm like, yeah. I really wasn't there. So by the time we went to bed, we were lying down, and she literally turned around and she was like, "Where were you today?"
Oh wow.
And I was like,
wow.
I was there. I was there. Just laughing. I was there.
But she knows.
Yeah, she knew. And so this morning I said voice note, and I was just like, you know what, I'm sorry, man. Like, it's just everything that's been happening. But with the man cave, it's funny because if it was not a Wednesday, maybe I would have said, babes, you know what, like, I'm just gonna kind of just, whether it's go on my laptop, my man cave is different I need to go studio, or I need to just watch things that will just take my mind off this world and So it's a real thing, and I think it's being able to, like you said, one, be self-aware, know when you're approaching it, but also be in a relationship that can facilitate that.
Yeah.
And again, the power of understanding. When we were friends, there'll be times where she'll be messaging me, "Oh, you okay? I'm cool, but yeah, I'm alright. I just need to switch off my phone for an hour, 2 hours, and then I'll hold out your back." Oh, she'll be like, "Alright, cool, no problem." So that friendship, again, that foundation, she already knows. So when I said the voice note in the morning, she was like, "No worries, I understand." So I think you do need a relationship that can facilitate that man cave, and just know, women out there, it's not you. I know you might hear that all the time, but it's 100%, it's not you. It's the only way for a guy to detox and get it out of his system, to be, again,
and recharge.
And be ready to meet the need. So if you've got an emotional need, I cannot meet it in that headspace. So you might even want to hug me. No, I don't want to hug. You might want to kiss. I don't know. It's not good, but I don't even want no physical affection or touch in that moment. Why? Because I can't even mentally engage in that at the moment. So I'm not saying it's you, I'm just saying the situation right now is so engulfed in my head that I just need some time to divert that attention to something totally different. And I think because a man is constantly trying to put out fires, balance plates, be there to be a need, be strong, I ain't weak. Do you know how tiring that is? Tiring.
Yeah, I was going to say, it must be so exhausting to have to maintain that image.
It's so tiring, and it's so and when I was coming home yesterday, I love marriage, but I've understood the changes it creates in your life from being single to not. If I was single and I was going home, I would have automatically entered a man cave. Right, I'm gonna get my food and get something from the takeaway.
No warning, nothing.
I'm watching Netflix. I'm just zoning.
And you're there for as long as you like.
Because I don't have to cater to anybody. There is nothing is desired from me or needed from me emotionally, mentally. I'm good. But when I was walking to the doorstep yesterday, I was thinking, oh marriage is a lot, because I can't. And it's not against my wife or anything, but I can't. It's hard to have your own thoughts. Because if I'm down, I'm down. So what's wrong? Man, in the man cave, there's no one to do that. There's no one to even ask me that. In the man cave, me, myself, and I know what's going on right now. We're good. But in marriage, you've got to be aware that you've got to be more aware.
Yeah.
And that is even a fight.
Itself.
Because you're like, oh no, I need to be emotionally available to her. But I don't even have emotion for myself. Okay, I'm going to fight through that. And it's either you fight through it or you just retreat to your man cave. And I think, in hindsight, though I said I wanted to give that Wednesday to her, I didn't give it to her. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually
not
didn't give
really.
it to her. I didn't,
Yeah.
because I wasn't there. So it would have made more sense to say, you know what, let me go to my kid.
And that's part of the sacrifice that I said that comes with not just marriage, but also with just being able to relate with someone else and not just. Obviously, you had every right to be in your feelings in that situation, every single right. But then when you think about others and you think about the responsibility that you have to them, that the sacrifice comes in. And this is really challenging me as well, like on so many levels. So I'm really grateful for your rawness. So yeah, keep it coming. Insecurities. So men, especially, I think anyway, don't tend to put their insecurities on blast. For various reasons, pride, image, wanting to sort of, keep it all together, like you said, keep it all together all of the time. What sort of insecurities have you had growing up? Not just now, like, in your 30s or whatever, but even as a young teenage boy in his 20s or, late teens, what insecurities have you had and how have you been able to overcome them?
Two insecurities. One, the scar on my head.
Okay.
And two, not being man enough. Yeah, not being man enough.
I'm going to break those down for us.
Yeah, so the scar on my head. It's weird. I still have different stories of what actually happened when I was so young, but I was in hospital. I was prematurely born. There was operations that had to be done on my body, whether it was helping me eat, helping me digest food. And one actual operation, a nurse was supposed to do on my scalp. I think she was supposed to put a tube or something. I was very small, so what happened was she was supposed to put a drip, and I think what was in the drip leaked out. Something of those lines. It's so hazy, but it was something that happened in hospital when I was very young. So growing up, only till secondary, only when you get up to about secondary school do you notice, something's different. Because up to primary school and everything, everyone's cool, playing in the sand, milk time, break time, it's cool. But when you start year 7, year 8, and someone says, what did they say? Someone called me Scarhead.
Oh wow.
Shut up, Scarhead. It's like, yo. Like, hold on. Like, is it a bad thing? Okay. And you get to see who's popular, who's the cool kids, and who do the girls gravitate to. Then you start to become a bit insecure. And I remember there was a time where I would just wear a hat everywhere. I'm wearing a hat only now because my hair is a mess.
So I accept you the way you are.
Yeah, thank you. But even that, I used to wear this hat everywhere because it meant that if I meet you for the first time, you don't know
anything about me. Yeah.
You don't know. And I might not see you again. So cool, that's the only perception you're left with. Fine, that's cool. And you won't ask questions. But if I come without my hat, there's just going to be questions over
and having to explain yourself
over
every single time.
and being in a barber shop and, the Jamaican barber, what? Boy, what happened to your head? And then, talking to the next, boy, look at you. Man, someone chopping body's head.
What did you do in those situations?
You're just cringing in the chair.
In the seat, yeah.
You're just thinking, just give me a fade.
I want to go.
And you just fade my hair. And so you have to stick to that barber. You've got to stick to that barber.
So that you don't get that same story from another barber, yeah.
Who's got time? No one's got time for that. So those insecurities just creep in. They just creep in little by little. You start to wonder, okay, so how come he doesn't have a scar? And why me? That big 2-word statement. Why me? How come? And as I grew, the only thing that kind of, so, and then you've got girls, you've got an issue with girls.
Girls can be cruel as well, can't they?
And
yeah,
man, so you would get into a situation where you're like, oh, I like you. You're like, oh, it's cool, as a friend, it's cool. You're good as a friend. So
it's friend zoned.
Yeah. So the only thing that really helped me overcome, and to an extent, is still an ongoing, continual process, is one day I was going to put the hat on, and I remember looking in the mirror and I was thinking, if you take that hat off, it's still there. Like on or off, it's still
doesn't
there.
take away the scar.
Yeah, it's still there. Like, so, is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? You might as well just.
The conversation you're having with yourself. Yeah.
Just like, you might as well just whatever, innit?
Just rock it.
Yeah. And I'll just do that. I'll just go. I'll just be like, well, it is, this is it, and it's not going away. And I think that kind of ownership of my weaknesses, and that goes beyond like physical, but just internal. I think that made me more vulnerable, more willing to be vulnerable and more free, because I'm just like, well, this is the truth. This is just what it is. And when I did that, it became my strength.
Wow.
And even when a point where my dad said to me, you know, we could get operation done, where it could cover it. Like, would you want to? Where we could put.
Is that because he saw what it was doing to you? He saw how it was affecting.
No. I think just general concern.
Okay, as a parent.
As the older you're getting, the things that you might be looking at as a parent ahead that you might want to curtail. And it's just like, you know, I think, you know, if you want to, you know, you can get it done. And that's a pivotal moment, because this is an opportunity to rectify the mistake, in a sense. This is an opportunity to cover the one insecurity that is blaring and glaring out.
Obvious,
it's the one opportunity you've got. And I said, he didn't say that, but you know, that's what the opportunity presented itself as. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? No, it's fine.
Cool.
It's
so
fine.
At that moment, for me, that's quite pivotal, because it's like, that's when you actually decided to embrace it.
Yeah.
Because if you had an opportunity to change it and you said no, it means that you're like, actually, this is me. It's part of who I am, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And it has its ups and downs. Me doing music, you know, sometimes I think, why would you put yourself in that position? Like, you've got to perform. Going from having a hat where covering it, now you're just out there. So sometimes video shoots are a problem. So back in the day, I would have to maneuver how, you know, maybe, how am I going to talk to the director to say a certain angle, don't do that angle. Photo shoots, I'd be like...
Because then you're bringing it up again, aren't you?
It's just bait, it's just... you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no escaping it. And those insecurities, you know, they feed into how you view yourself. Am I attractive or not?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, they go, it's deeper than it's a scar on my head, it's, you know...
Am I desirable?
Come on.
Yeah. This is interesting for me, because I was also reading about, again, I was doing a lot of research on how men think and stuff like that. And body image came up a lot for men. And like, you know, on Instagram or whatever, Facebook, you know, there's a six pack, you're blenched, you know, you've got the full beard, hairline's intact, like you're from head to toe, you know, like your watch, your shoes, your belt, designer, all of this stuff, you know, silky smooth skin. Body image is a thing for guys. It's not even a joke from what I've read. Obviously, I think guys are masking it better, but I think guys struggle with that a lot. And you just talking about your scar, because it still plays into that whole subject, is really, really powerful. It's really, really powerful. Like, and you deciding to embrace it, and just giving us those examples of when you're on your video shoots or photo shoots and feeling a type of way, or having to explain yourself to the director or the photographer. I mean, I'm just impressed, because you didn't have to share that with us. And it just goes to show that, you know, you're very much human. If I pinch you, just because you rap and stuff and your music's on Spotify or iTunes, doesn't mean that you don't have those emotions, those insecurities.
And it's just like that whole thing we talk about the male expectation.
Yeah.
You're not expected. Why should that be a problem? I've had people say, like, oh no, I always thought it was a line. You know how you're talking about romantic or line. And I'll be like, shut up, man. Come on, what kind of line even looks like that remotely? But over time, I just had to, and I think one thing that happened was that scripture that says, you know, what was it? You were...
fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, that's true. And there's another, you know, that's if that's true, then that's a great thing. There's another scripture, oh Lord, you've searched and known me. Psalm 139. Oh Lord, you have searched and known me. You know my lying down and you know my sitting down and my standing up. You know my thoughts from afar off. And I kind of thought, well, if you knew this was going to happen, why then, if it was in your power to stop and you didn't, who am I to reject that? Saying, no, I'm going to embrace.
Because there's a purpose in it.
This is the scar that I have, and that goes for, again, like I said, it's not just external, but everything. Like the weaknesses I have, my flaws, I embrace them flaws Because some people say you have to, you got to look at your negative, you got to change. I'm like, I need to embrace it first before I even start to change it.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of self-awareness.
Yeah.
You don't even, how can you change what you don't even acknowledge is even
Absolutely.
there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
So I acknowledge the scar is there, but this is my calling card. This is, if you know, people will know, oh yeah, that's Icie. Even if it's the guy with the scar on his head, I'm like, all right, cool, then this is what it is. You know, and so that then goes into, you know, the other one I was talking about was manhood and male, being a man. Growing up, I was never into like typical, what you're expected to as a boy, like, I don't know, football. I just thought, I went to one football match, and I was sitting there, I was like, this is dead. It's freezing cold. It's freezing.
Soz.
The seats are stone.
We're going to get a lot of people coming for you for this. But
Bro, I remember I went to one football match, I was like, never. And so I just didn't get into it. Things like, you know, like gangs and fighting. I always thought to myself, I don't want to be stabbed. I used to be like, who would want to be stabbed?
yeah.
I was thinking, I don't want to go to be stabbed. I don't want to go to jail. Going to the gym is cool, but you get tired, and sometimes it's boring. So
some of that stuff appealed to you.
Yeah. I wasn't into like chasing girls mad. I liked women, but I wasn't like I wasn't like a gallus. Like, I was just like, no, I want to know the person. So even if we went to the club, be like, oh, so you're gonna chat her up? Be like, no. If I go and chat her up, do you know how many men have chatted her up?
So then, what do you get? Do you get flack for that? Like if you're in a group of guys and they're like egging you on, and you say no.
Yeah. So I didn't care.
Okay.
Because I was just like, yeah, but that's not me. So even I remember one day being off, I was in sixth form, and everyone was smoking weed in the alleyway, and you know, I wrote that in the lyric. I was offered weed that could have been my entrance. Joint enterprise, David had to write the sentence. I was offered weed. They're like, oh, do you want? And I was like, no, I'm good, man. That could have been my entrance into going down that road whereby even now I smoke weed and I can't get off it. And it was only because, again, of that embracing who you are, and self-awareness helps you so much in doing that. What am I good at? What am I not good at? And those two are fine. What am I good at and what am I not good at? And both of them are fine. What do I like? What don't I like? And I have a right to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really embracing what God is and the makeup of who you are, like your personality. And I talk a lot. I do music, but I'm an introvert. I can
tell.
You can tell?
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. Now you put me in a room, I'm over there.
So
I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, even if you try to change that, it just feels...
Yeah, it's out of place. Yeah.
And I know there's situations you have to.
Yeah.
But
and you rise to the occasion on those situations.
You fight to rise to the
occasion.
But, you know, own who you are and embrace that, because everyone is different, man. And everyone comes from a whole different place. And I think with that masculine element, the only way I've overcome that is through embracing the totality of who I am.
You are,
whether it's how I look, whether it's the music I make, whether it's what I do for a living. There's always this thing going through social media of, you're doing a 9 to 5, man. Anyone that's doing a 9 to 5 is just working for another man. Go and chase your dreams. The day I put in my resignation, who's going to pay my rent at the end of the month?
This is it.
Who's paying that? Are you going to pay
I'm
my rent?
asking those questions, yeah.
All right. So,
let
me own what I'm doing now. What I'm doing is not necessarily a job, it's an investment. I take some of that money, I pour it into this music that you hear, all these videos you see, and we build as we go along. Yeah. That might be good for some people, but you have to understand, embrace, and know what's good for you.
Love that. That's solid advice. Solid. Friendship. I want to talk about friendship. You've got a track called Friends for Life. Yeah. Oh yeah. Joker. I'm doing my research. But I was listening to that and really good lyrics. And I wanted to ask you, because I read this article, and it was, the title of the article was Things That Suck About Being a Man. I know it's really negative, but it is what it is. And one of the things that was on the article was the fact that as a guy, it's really hard to have friends or to find male friends that you can be emotional with. So obviously with a woman, yeah, that's fine, your wife or whatever, your mom, sister, but as a guy, having another guy friend that you can be emotional with, that you can be that transparent with, is very rare. And I wanted to ask you, like, if that's been true for you, if that's been your reality.